Today we're going to go over games that involve categories.
This particular activity is a category activity. It's good for helping students to review material, to refresh their memories, and to recall information that they might be responsible for on a test. Using category games, just as a side note, are really good for helping students build those neural connections that are in their working memory and long-term memory to help solidify and create a stronger foundation for information that is new in their heads and that they'll be required to understand and learn and master. So category games are great for chunking and great for helping students memorize. So this particular activity requires no material whatsoever, but it is good for small classes and large classes and many different subjects. You basically put words all over the board in random order. Don't put them in a list or don't put them horizontally. They can be very different words, and allow yourself to write as many as you can, from anywhere between 15 to maybe 30 or 40 words right on the board. Obviously, you won't want to do this prep work during class, especially if you have a large number of words, but feel free to put 40 words on the board or 30, and from there have the students either in pairs or in groups create categories for the words. Now, they can create as many categories as they want, or they can create as few categories and just shove all of the words into those categories, but invite the students to be as creative as they possibly can with this activity and to find connections with the words that they might not have thought of before. If the students ask you for advice or recommendations, do not give it to them, because this activity is primarily designed to force students to use their imaginations and creativity to build connections and to strengthen chunks in their mind. You need this type of creativity to help make some information more memorable. Studies show that the more creative and imaginative you can be in building relationships in your mind with words that you have to know or phrases that you have to be familiar with, the easier it is for you to recall that information later on, long term, several months later. So that research has been shown in many different studies. So having the students be creative, of course, in this activity is really what you want to do. And give the students maybe 10 to 15 minutes to do this, and then afterwards they can report to you and the rest of the class on what kind of categories they made. A good alternative activity that requires categorizing involves a little more prep work on your part, but it could be just as rewarding as this activity that I have already mentioned. It involves a little more prep work. You would have to write sentences on a piece of paper or type them up if you do have a computer, but if you don't need them. And all you need to do is cut the sentences up and invite the students to either categorize those sentences or to arrange them in an order that it makes the most sense. If you have a story, that's even better. The students can rearrange the story and see which arrangement makes the most sense for them. If you're teaching a science class, you could do bodily functions. You could do the steps of cell reproduction. You could do mitosis, meiosis. Many different activities can come from this game and many different stories. This works really well for history as well. If you have a sequence of events in history, you can have the students rearrange them and compete with each other between groups, within groups. So this activity is very flexible and can be used to help students strengthen their memories. Bye for now.